Diddy is not giving up, even before he gets to the trial, he's not giving up on trying to get out of jail. You know that he has been turned down twice to get out on bail, and he is being held in Brooklyn and will be there until the trial begins.
Unless he appeals and an appeals court says the judge was wrong, the judge should have allowed him to post bail, which is exactly what they are going to try and do.
Right, and he has brought in new lawyers to try and get this done.
TMZ recently reported that Diddy is seeking release from jail ahead of his trial, having been denied bail twice. Currently held in Brooklyn, he is appealing the judge's decision and has enlisted new lawyers to bolster his case for another bail request. Rumors indicate that he is struggling with life in jail, following his arrest on charges including racketeering and misconduct trafficking. Reports also suggest he has been placed on suicide watch, raising concerns about his mental well-being while in detention.
Harvey, I'd go beyond hard. I think this is an impossible task. You're asking an appellate court judge to say that the trial court judge got it wrong, to your point, abuse of discretion, but it's based on the evidence before the trial judge. There's going to be a tremendous amount of deference given to the trial judge on his interpretation of the evidence. I can't see an appellate court overruling it just simply based on some sort of abuse of discretion. It's not here.
Regarding Diddy's case, TMZ has reported that he is facing serious charges, including racketeering, trafficking, and transportation for the purpose of adultery. He has been denied bail twice, and conditions in prison are reportedly worsening for him.
Staying at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. He apparently knew this was coming.
Yes, he's been preparing for this. And just hours before his arrest, was walking around the streets of New York, talking to fans, taking selfies with them. He and his son, Christian, King Combs, were walking around talking to fans. So he seemed like he didn't have a care in the world. He'd been there earlier in the week. Over the weekend, was in Central Park.
Diddy is currently held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, notorious for its harsh conditions, including poor sanitation, inadequate medical care, and subpar food. These circumstances have reportedly exacerbated his anxiety and panic following his arrest and continued detention.
Combs has been denied bail in connection with the sexual abuse and sex trafficking charges he faces. And as Les Trent reports, the music mogul who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Visit inside this federal lockup. There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here.
A legal expert has indicated that Diddy could be facing several years in prison, suggesting that the charges against him are serious and could lead to significant legal consequences if he is convicted. The outcome may involve a lengthy sentence, depending on the severity of the crime and the evidence presented. This development would represent a major shift in both his career and personal life, particularly given his high-profile status in the entertainment industry.
Really no deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the sex trafficking. So we know that Diddy has fought charges before. There were state charges, there were gun-related, the nightclub shooting with J-Lo, but he's going to dig in his heels, and this case is going to trial. So if you're prosecutors, you really want to make sure that your evidence is bulletproof before you go down that
Judge
route.
Carter, who is overseeing Diddy's case, denied him bail due to concerns about potential witness tampering and possible acts of violence. In response, Diddy has filed an appeal to contest this decision. The denial of bail indicates that the court sees him as a significant risk to either the investigation or others involved, complicating his legal battle further. This ruling underscores the seriousness of the case, as bail denials are typically reserved for situations where there are strong concerns for public safety or the integrity of justice.
About their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering they allege his crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them.
Diddy's legal case has sparked controversy following the assignment of a new judge and the sealing of evidence. Having been denied bail twice, Diddy reportedly desires a speedy trial. However, the judge has raised questions about whether he truly prefers that or would rather have more time to review the evidence.
Evidence sealed. And a lot of people are freaking out about this. They're saying that it's super weird timing for all of this to be happening, but it's not exactly what you guys are thinking. And the way Diddy is doing this is actually stupid because he actually wants a speedy trial because he got denied bail twice. So the judge was asking him, so what do you want? Do you want a speedy trial? Do you want to review the discovery that's going to be produced? Do you want to come back in 45 days? Or do you want me to set a trial date? I can set a trial date if you want me to set a trial date. And Diddy's lawyer has already confirmed this multiple times. Once he got denied bail, he kept saying that he was pushing for a speedy trial. And the judge told Diddy when he asked for the speedy trial, whenever you want it. And if I can't try it, I will find a colleague who can if you want to set a trial date. So this could be exactly why Diddy has this new judge assigned to his case, but this is also a downfall for Diddy because the worst thing that you could do is want a speedy trial when you haven't even went through all of your evidence in the discovery.
While Diddy's lawyer has strongly asserted his innocence in light of the serious charges he faces, the legal team reiterated their commitment to challenging the accusations during a recent court appearance. They emphasized their dedication to defending him throughout the legal process and securing a favorable outcome in the ongoing case.
So this was the first step. We have a bail appeal scheduled for tomorrow at 3:30 in front of Judge Carter, the district judge assigned to this case. I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think it came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again, and we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight it.
Diddy's denial of bail has dramatically transformed his life from luxury to the harsh realities of imprisonment. He is now confined to a basic existence, dealing with isolation and a monotonous routine that is a stark contrast to his former lavish lifestyle.
His freak-offs. What a word that's become, honestly. And just to give you a little list of exactly what him and his employees got up to here, we've got sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotic offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery and obstruction of justice. Wow. You know what? You're P. Diddy. You got all the money in the world. You don't need to do any of this. But for some people, the more powerful they get, the more dark their imagination becomes, and the more they want to push the boundaries to do the craziest fucked up shit possible. And this is what happens when a psychopath gets this much power. Even those words coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, it wasn't enough for him to get consenting, prostitutes who do this by trade. What a trade. Do you know what I mean? I don't remember that in my apprenticeship. But people who do this for a living anyway. It was fun for him to take people who would never ordinarily have been a prostitute into that so that they could become his toys. And by the sounds of it, P. Diddy and his employees would do whatever it took to get women into his inner circle to participate in whatever fucked up shit he was into. He would use threats. He would use intimidation. He would even use the offer of a romantic relationship, that lover boy method that Andrew Tate made famous.
Once accustomed to lavish meals, Diddy now endures a monotonous diet of basic prison food, including potatoes and processed meat. This stark change, combined with the isolation of solitary confinement, highlights the dramatic shift in his life.
Traded all of these freak-offs, purchased multiple hotel rooms for these freak-offs to take place, had his staff stock the rooms with different items, drugs, lube, extra sheets, things of that nature for the freak-off, didn't allow individuals to not participate in the freak-off. And one of the ways that he did that was by using drugs in order to get them to a state of mind so that they would participate, or he would use the tapes as extortion to force them into these freak-offs. And he did all of this for his own perverted, twisted benefit. I don't know if he was participating in these. I don't know if he was getting off to these videos that he was making. Who knows? This is crazy. I don't know how else to put it. It's crazy. It's terrible. The amount of people whose lives have been forever affected by this. I just want to know some more information, and I want to know who else is involved in this, because I have a feeling that this is going to be massive for the next 2, 3, 4 years and beyond.
Once accustomed to lavish meals, Diddy now endures a monotonous diet of basic prison food, including potatoes and processed meat. This stark change, combined with the isolation of solitary confinement, highlights the dramatic shift in his life.
Meanwhile, Suge Knight, remember him? Death Row Rex, remember him? He decided to share some advice with Diddy on his show. Yes, he does have a show from prison. It's called Collect Call with Suge Knight. Here's what he had to say. Look at these quotes. Quote, "I'll tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger because you know the secrets of who's involved in that little secret room you guys are participating in. You know they're gonna get you if they can. Puffy, I'm gonna give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You gotta make a decision. I'm gonna have videotapes on you. I'm gonna have audio tapes on you. I'm gonna have evidence where you're gonna have to capitulate to my demands, so you're gonna need to do what I want you to do. That's extortion." It also mentioned murder. What do you think Al B. Sure is alluding to? Kim Porter's gone. The mother of 3 children from P. Diddy is gone. And Al B. Sure goes on his Instagram page with 3 separate Instagram posts, bringing this stuff up, imploring the society and the communities at large, particularly the hip-hop and R&B community.
Diddy is facing over 100 lawsuits, making this one of the most significant legal battles ever seen in the entertainment industry. The sheer volume of claims presents a formidable challenge for him.
As if things couldn't get any worse for embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, today a prominent lawyer came forward saying he intends to file more than 100 different lawsuits from alleged victims.
Claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors.
A Texas attorney has announced 120 new allegations of misconduct against Diddy, including claims of physical misconduct spanning over 25 years. These accusations complicate his chances for bail, as they portray him as a significant societal threat. Diddy has pleaded not guilty, and his legal team is actively contesting the charges. The new allegations, coupled with his ongoing case related to physical misconduct trafficking, suggest a growing body of evidence that could hinder his efforts to secure bail for the 3rd time before trial.
Today, a Texas-based attorney was at a press conference and revealed that there are 120 new sexual allegations. Now, this is a civil complaint that this firm is going to be filing throughout the country. They found that Sean Combs could still be a harm to society. It's very difficult for a judge to set someone on bail when there's so much presumed evidence. And you could think in a scenario where a judge would to release Sean Combs on bail and then something else happens. You have to be really careful.
I hate to say it, but the fact that he was denied bail twice is just working against him even more, because people are like, oh my God, he must really be guilty. I don't know how they're gonna find a jury of his peers. Like, I feel like they'd have to move to, go to Alaska or something. Like, do you think his attorney's gonna ask for a change of venue?
Before diving into the current lawsuits involving Diddy, the speaker noted it would be important to briefly mention the lawsuit that initiated it all. We've discussed this extensively, but on November 16th, 2023, Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit against Combs. She alleged that Combs physically and psychologically mistreated her, even claiming he forced her into physical slavery. Among the many allegations in her suit is a claim that Combs physically assaulted her in a hotel hallway in 2016.
Evidence will be presented against Combs in his future criminal trial. It is important to understand all of these lawsuits, all of these allegations. So with that in mind, this is a full breakdown of all of the civil lawsuits and the latest developments. Okay, now, before we even get into the current lawsuits, I would be remiss if I didn't quickly mention the lawsuit that started it all. We've talked about this extensively, but Cassandra Ventura, Cassie, filed a lawsuit against Combs back on November 16th, 2023. She claimed that Combs physically, sexually, and psychologically abused her and even forced her into sexual slavery. Among the many claims in her suit were that Combs raped.
In a recent lawsuit against Diddy, former adult film actress Adria English alleges that between 2004 and 2009, he pressured her into using substances and participating in physical activities with guests at his residences in New York and Miami.
Let me ask you this, before we even get into anything else, why bring this lawsuit now, and does it have anything to do with the potential federal investigation happening right now?
So we brought our lawsuit because my client was injured by Mr. Combs, and she had been seeking counsel for some time now. She actually sought out counsel who we all know have cases, including Cassie's lawyers and some other lawyers, prior to seeking me out, just looking for representation for her claims. It just so happened to be that now we're at a place where it's essentially inevitable that Mr. Combs will have some level of indictment and face some criminal charges for all of the cases we now know to be public information.
An alleged explicit video featuring Diddy and a well-known male celebrity is reportedly circulating in Hollywood, leaving the celebrity horrified at the prospect of its release. The footage was allegedly recorded without the individual's consent, possibly at one of Diddy's notorious parties. The legal implications are significant, with attorney Ariel Mitchell stressing that Diddy must take action, as prayer alone won't suffice. This incident is connected to broader allegations against Diddy involving misconduct and exploitation.
You were an attorney for this A-lister. How would you handle this? You know, is there a way to make this go away other than the hush money thing? Is there anything that can be done legally?
It's not a hush money situation. There's a thing of value that is for sale. So in a legal sense, the only way to control it is to have possession of it. So if the person is that concerned about this seeing the light of day where they're praying that it goes away, I can certainly tell that person, I hate to say prayer won't work in this situation, but the only way is to do something, to act. Otherwise, if you're going to leave it into the hands of others will purchase it, and legally it's a way for them to get around. They can blur out the other person. They could, blur out maybe the pornographic parts, but it could come out and it could be figured out who this person is very easily.
Attorney Ariel Mitchell, representing a recent accuser of Diddy Combs, has raised concerns about a potential cover-up in her client's case. Her suspicions were sparked when police informed her that she would need a subpoena to access records from a 2018 report of physical mistreatment filed by the accuser. Mitchell noted that this response seemed unusual, as such records are typically accessible without a subpoena. This situation has intensified broader allegations against Diddy involving misconduct and hidden recordings at his parties, raising controversy over potential obstruction of justice in the investigation.
The police were working with you on this case. You wanted to get the report. We talked about this. You said things were going smoothly, but now it's not. So when did that change?
Last night, actually, I got an email from them, the county, not the city police, that then said I needed a subpoena to get the records, which I think we all know about Freedom of Information Act, which requires public information be given freely. That's why it's a federal law. So I've never experienced in any situation where I have been told I needed a subpoena to get public information. I was floored, I was shocked, and it was apparent to me that some type of cover-up is going on. The Orinda police are in violation of federal law, and I will make sure if they want to be the next facing a lawsuit, they can be the next.
Reports suggest that Diddy is struggling with prison conditions and has begun to panic, naming other high-profile figures allegedly involved in similar criminal activities. This move may be a strategy to mitigate his legal consequences, potentially aiming to negotiate a more favorable outcome for himself. While unconfirmed, this tactic appears to be an effort to leverage information in exchange for leniency or cooperation agreements, a common approach in complex legal cases involving multiple parties.
But one thing I want to talk about is the P. Diddy arrest, his denied bail, the celebrities now that are running. You got people scrubbing their accounts like Pink, Megan Fox, other celebrities. You got Dwayne Wade now being aired out. This is a cascade effect that's just it's gonna be a web of intricacies that lead to everybody. You got so many celebrities right now terrified, and the purpose of this, and the reason why it's simmering right now, is because they're being adrenalized. This October, we're going to see more names released. That's just a hunch. We're going to see the push for World War III. Things are going to escalate like we've never before seen in October. I think this is going to lead to politicians, to everybody. But like I said, both sides are going to go in. And they failed twice on Trump, which means they're going to use other methods and means to accomplish a goal.
Diddy has cautioned his close associates about potential consequences related to their involvement in his controversial activities, particularly regarding his infamous parties, as conditions in prison continue to worsen and become unbearable for him.
Not going down without a fight. Diddy's close associate has been making waves recently. So Stevie J, a notable producer implicated in one of the lawsuits and was there during the raids, took to TMZ Live to defend his friend Diddy. But that's just the beginning of the story. Stevie didn't stop there. He took to Instagram to drop a bombshell by sharing footage from Diddy's star-studded 50th birthday bash, attended by the likes of the Kardashians, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, and Kevin Hart. So with the lawsuit alleging Diddy holds compromising footage of all attendees from his infamous parties, Stevie J just issued a stark warning to all his friends.
Diddy's recent legal troubles have drawn increased attention to his past behavior, with several individuals coming forward to share their experiences. This scrutiny emphasizes the need to address issues of misconduct.
All the ways that he's used his power, all the ways that he's disrespected people and treated people, and you let him do that because of his power. And now you know that this woman has been living with this for years. And those bruises heal, right? But emotionally, mentally, the trauma that she's experienced, and then to come out after all these years and finally have the courage to say something about it, to do something about it, to in some way try to recoup some of your dignity, in some way try to recoup what he took from you. Now you got to hear everybody in the world doubt that you ever went through those things.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.